which is human prehistory. There are, to summarize, two main points. That humans, which began modern Homo sapiens sapiens around 200,000 before present, somewhere in Central Africa, existed for 190,000 years, living in a hunter-gatherer context, which is to say, put believably, they would wake up every morning not really certain where their next meal was coming from. This has a lot of limitations to it, such as size of population, if you don't have stored food, just survival, all these different issues. And so, and developing technologies, you have to have the free time to do that sort of thing. And so things progressed very, very slowly, really for millions of years in hominid existence, until around 16 to 10,000, let's say 10,000 before present, with the development of Neolithic technology. So we have Paleolithic, Old Stone Age, hunter-gatherer context, and Neolithic around 10,000 before present, which is the development of agriculture, the domestication of animals and plants. And with that, we end up with stored food supplies so that people can devote some portion of the time, and some element of the population can devote its time to things other than simply developing food, finding food to survive. This is what leads to expanding populations and complex societies. It's really the determining point. Not only that, but we could stress that when we look at historical human history in long terms, right, 190,000 years, we can point to the technologies that developed, stone tools, going from large tools to micro tools, going to hafted tools, going to the bow and arrow. I mean, this progressed, and it's remarkable these things were developed really before Homo sapiens sapiens, but that the progress was very, very slow. With the development of stored wealth, food is wealth that can be exchanged, used internally or externally. What we see is a cascade of technologies rapidly over the next 4,000 years. Weaving, pottery, metallurgy, and finally writing. All of these things happen between 10,000, say, and 3,000 BC. When you think that tens of thousands of years things change slowly, and then with the development of the Neolithic Revolution, things changed very rapidly, and we see the rise of large urban civilizations, first of all in riverine cultures, what are known as hydraulic civilizations, because there were rivers that enabled people to engage in irrigation, and that enabled large-scale agricultural production in which you could put teams of people out in the field, creating canals to store water so that you could produce food to support very, very large urban populations. And this happened in the globe, several places pretty much simultaneously. We have the Mesopotamia, the area of modern-day Iraq between the Tigris and Euphrates. We have Egypt, the region of the Valley of the Nile. We have the Indus Valley in India. Again, by about 5,000 BC, we have evidence of large urban civilizations. We have the Yangtze, the Yellow River in China. Same sort of thing at that time. And also we could point to Peru around 5,000 BC as developing agricultural technologies. It seems to have happened around the globe, you know, between 16,000 is the earliest evidence for it with the Natufian peoples in Israel, all the way down to Peru around 5,000, but still within a relative limited period of time, and that seems to be connected with the easing of the Ice Age, which came to its end, or shall we say, it's been the same ever since, about 10,000 before present, 10,000 BC, how we want to round it out that way. And so were all these changes simply serendipitous, or was it that compulsion, that humans had to adapt to a changing environment by gaining control of their food supply because it was changing? It was changing, and more likely it was compulsion, more likely it was the latter. And that also explains why certain hominids went into extinction and others, the Homo sapiens sapiens, were able to adapt and survive. So you can look through that, you can look through issues of genetic drift, you can look through all the different, the Pleistocene era, what the Ice Age was, but mainly the main issue we want to leave you with this chapter is we have sort of Paleolithic society, Old Stone Age, hunter-gatherer context, and then Neolithic after 10,000 BC, the adaptation to agricultural technologies.